Good evening, everyone. My name is Michael Anop. I'm the founder of the Playground of Hope organization, and I would like to share with you tonight how we harnessed the power of play together with public-private partnerships to build 48 playgrounds in and around Japan, 43 of those in Tohoku. So usually when I talk about the Playground of Hope, I talk a lot about the importance of play, because kids learn a lot of things in the play environment that you can't learn in school or from a book. Things like social skills, risk assessment, which you see going on here, and lots of different things, like I said, that just can't be learned from a book. But today, what I'm going to be talking a lot about is public-private partnerships, the 3 Ps of park developments. This has been a key success factor in achieving our goals in Tohoku. And in fact, it's been such a success that we've been able to roll this out nationwide in Japan. With over 50 in total. So at its very basic level, a public sector, private sector collaboration is essentially a contract between a public entity, be it the prefectural office or a city office, and a private entity. It could be a corporation or a small company, and you find the common interest of both of those groups, and then you have that at a very basic level. So a public space can either be an asset or a liability to a city. And what happened on 3/11 is you had hundreds, if not thousands, of play spaces that had become liabilities to the city. So it was in the city's best interest to reach out to the private sector to help remedy this situation. So for the private sector, it was also in their best interest to find activities that were meaningful for their employees as part of their CSR activity. It could be also an internal branding opportunity for them within their company to make their people feel good about working for their company. So they had their own motivation for taking part in this. So what we wanted to do also was create an opportunity for the community themselves to come out and, you know, they were very glad to receive donations from everyone, but they also wanted to partake in the rebuilding of their communities, but they didn't know how. And it's a very rewarding experience to build a park in just one day. So then began our journey to the public-private sector. Now it's you can see from my face, my expression, bureaucracy is not very fun when you first encounter it, but an amazing thing happened is it kind of melted away because they knew it was going to take 2, 3, 4, or 5 years before parks could be built. So we kind of filled that gap that Neil was talking about. So at first they decided just to turn a blind eye to what we were doing. There wasn't really any kind of formal agreement. And we just went out with that blind eye blessing and went out and found corporate sponsors and married them together with community groups. And in 6 months, we built 7 playgrounds. You can see everybody volunteering there. And then what happened next was a very interesting thing, was that I guess the government's blind eye kind of liked what we were doing. Saw what we were doing and liked it. And they started reaching out to us. The Ministry of Education started reaching out to us and said, hey, can you help us rebuild the playgrounds at our school? We'd never thought about that. And we began to realize, you know, in our second year or so that, you know, playgrounds were actually much more, not only for kids, it was for the whole community. It was for the parents, for the grandparents, for the caregivers. And we've had over 500 people attend just a single opening event. So playgrounds are very important parts of the community. This slide I meant to change, but I'll talk to it in any case. This is supposed to be a slide showing how the community is actually a 3-generational space. So, but you do see a little bit of that there. So it's not only young people, it's old people, and they're making new friends. An interesting thing happened. In our 3rd year, we became a classic public-private collaboration. We had signed contracts with governments, and interestingly enough, this is the vice mayor of one of the cities we were working with actually coming out on a bill to experience the Playground of Hope for himself. It's quite an empowering feeling. And then what happened after that was beyond our wildest imagination. This is UR, the Urban Renaissance Group. They are a semi-governmental, very conservative construction company. They reached out to us to help them rebuild a park in a new community that they were building. And the reason they did that was because although they had the hard, right? Hardware. They could actually, this Aoichiku neighborhood was once rice paddies in 2013. They were building roads and homes, but those by themselves do not create community. Engaging with community creates a community, and a great way to do that is to get the community out to build a park for the kids and themselves. So, what's happening now, I have this slide here, few kids and decreasing tax dollars shouldn't equal no cool parks for kids. So you have, prefectures throughout Japan, Aomori and Akita-ken, 1% decline in population in just 1 year. And this is happening throughout all of Tohoku. In cities like this that are still in the midst of rebuilding, they're still experiencing this slow motion disaster, which is depopulation. So what we want to be able to do is bring public-private collaborations together so they can divert their valuable tax dollars to help schools and not have to worry about parks. This is your classic Japanese park. Depressing, cold, uninspiring. And what we want to do is use public-private collaborations to build more inspiring parks, to get the community involved, because if the community is involved, it will work. So we want to build things like this. This is cool, right? So we want to work with companies like Dyson & Klein, right? To build things like this. And then we have the community involved. A lot of these communities are fishermen and they're farmers, but they're very vibrant communities. Their children want to be fishermen and they want to be farmers, and we want to help them make communities that their children, as they grow up, will have fond childhood memories that will last a lifetime, and they will want to go back to their communities and want to stay in their communities and not go back to Tokyo. This is what we're all about. That's Playground of Hope. Thank you very much.